I want to shout out all the Elutra pineapples for being so fine. Hi everyone, I'm Bodine Victoria. Welcome to my kitchen and this is my pot. Today we're going to take a trip to none other than Elutra. Now of course, y'all see the pineapple here. Y'all should know what's about to go down. We're going to make us some juicy, delicious pineapple tarts. Soft, buttery, crusty, delicious. Did I say delicious? I said delicious. If you've been watching Bodie and Pot for a while, you know that we make some delicious desserts here on this channel that are Bahamian in origin, but with a Bodine Victoria twist. So if you have not tried my sweet potato bread recipe yet, I'm going to link it somewhere on the screen. Or if you'd like to try my guava duff recipe, which is quite popular, you can do that as well. And we're going to be experimenting with tastes and flavors. This recipe is going to take about 3 hours because we're making a bread dough, okay? And obviously we need to give the bread some time to rise. We're also going to be then making our fresh pineapple filling, and we're going to allow that to cool. And then when our bread dough has risen, we're going to move into the third part of Bodine Pot, which is going to be filling and letting it proof for the last time, covering it in an egg wash and sticking it in the oven to bake. So without further ado, let us get started. Going to add some warm water. Now listen carefully, you don't want to kill your yeast, okay? So it's just warm enough for your yeast to be activated. You'll know that it's too hot if you can't put your finger inside of it and your finger does not burn off, okay? I'm also going to add milk to this because I can. Your milk should be room temperature. Just adding just a little bit to it. And then we're going to put our sugar in here. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of sugar. Now, we're going to empty the packet of yeast into our bowl. And I'm going to use this to mix it because I don't want the majority of the yeast to stay on the spoon. In another small bowl, we're going to take 1 egg. Gonna break that, drop that into the bowl. A 1/4 cup of butter. And we're going to drop this into the bowl as well. This is shortening. Going to just kind of get this in here as well. 1/4 cup of sugar. We're going to cream this together. Our yeast has risen. If you look along the sides, you can see all of the pretty bubbles. So that's a very good rise. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a well in our flour. We're going to add all of our yeast. And now we're going to add our creamed butter shortening mixture to that. You see how easily it fell in? And now we're just going to mix this all together. We want to incorporate all of this. Here's what we want to do now. I'm going to add just about half a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of cinnamon, add a pinch of salt. I forgot to salt it. And let's get this dough on the road. Now here's what I want you all to see. I ain't even really start working this yet, but I want y'all to look at the texture of the dough. I ain't putting too much. I'm going to spread this flour out a little bit. And I'm just going to knead it a little bit. Okay. And that's that on that. Now, what I want you to see right now is I want you to look at the texture of the dough. It's still nice and it's very, very light, spongy, okay? That's what you're gonna get with this. And we're gonna let this proof for the first time. Dough is now ready for its first set of proofing. And so we are going to just kind of cover it generously with a little bit of butter. Come on, plastic wrap. We're going to put a dishcloth on top of it, and we're going to put it in a warm space, which just so happens to be right here. Now that our dough is proofing, it's time for us to prepare our pineapple. The reason why we're going to do this now is because we're using a fresh pineapple. We want to cook this out so that it is extremely dry. Yes, we want it to be dry, but we also want it to cool by the time it's time for us to roll out our dough and then make our mini dough boys. So we need to get started with this part of the process. I'm going to start by cutting off the top of the pineapple. Just rest that right there. I'm also going to do the same for the bottom. These right here. And now I'm going to cut along the sides of it, trying not to take off too much of the pineapple. This is the perfect way to use an overripe pineapple. So if you look along the edges of the pineapple, you're going to see that it's kind of brown here. So this one was just about to be overripe, which is perfect for this recipe. I'm going to cut our pineapple down the center. I'm going to cut it down the center again. And now I am going to pull what some people believe is the best part of it, or cut it out. This is the core of the pineapple. We're just going to cut this up small, and then we're going to put it in the blender. Now that we've done that, we're going to add our pineapples. Of fresh ginger to this at the same time. We're also going to fry out our nutmeg. Put in a teaspoon of cardamom. Throw in our pineapple. Just like that. And despite the fact that we did it in the blender, this is the consistency of the pineapple. Now we're going to put in a little over, well, a little under 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're also going to drop some cloves in here, which we will have to fish out later. Instead of lemon juice, I'm going to put in a piece of orange peel. Yes, I'm putting orange peel inside my pineapple. I'm going to let this cook for a bit. We're going to cook it until it is just about completely dry. Our pineapple has reduced. You can see there's little to no moisture left in it, so I'm going to fish out the orange peel. I had thrown some cinnamon sticks in here as well, and we're going to fish out the cloves. And when we come back, we're going to be ready to start filling our dough and going through the second proofing. Please pardon the noise in the background. I could not leave my refrigerator off any longer. It takes a while to get through the taping, and the noise that you're hearing is the hum of the refrigerator. It's time for us to deal with our dough. We saw what it looked like when it got inside here. Now it is just so moist. It smells, well, it smells yeasty because dough, but I know it's going to be delicious. You have the richness of the egg, the butter, the shortening is going to help it to be nice and light and fluffy. Plus we added nutmeg and we added cinnamon to this. It's going to be sweet, but not too sweet, which is how I like my treats. Let's roll this dough out. I'm now going to punch this dough down and get some of this out of here. I'm going to throw this down like this. We don't want too much of the flour, okay? Because if you knead it with too much flour, it's going to taste like flour. And now I am going to portion this off. Because like I said, I have plans for the other half of this dough. Put you in here. Believe it or not, this is going to be enough for our 6 pieces of, or 6 tarts. 2, 3, over to the side. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna take this, gonna put these together like this. Don't worry about what I'm doing right now, okay? Turn them over. We're gonna rest this right here onto the baking sheet. And we're gonna just give it enough space so that it could rise. Gonna cover it. And we're now going to allow these to rise. We don't need to do anything else. These are going to come out nice and brown, and if they're not brown enough, I can just put them right on the top of the broiler for 2 minutes just to let them get a nice brown color. But this is where it's at. Look at that. I think the round one looks so much prettier than the long ones, but they're all going to taste really good. So into the oven they go. 15 to 20 minutes, and when I come back, all things pineapple. Our pineapple tarts are ready. I have this pineapple top. We're going to give this to a friend of mine. She's going to grow another pineapple from it. And here I have a pineapple basil lemonade because my pineapple ain't gonna waste. But most importantly, we have this delicious pineapple tart. It is soft, it's pillowy, it is juicy. You have the kick from the ginger, a little bit of the cardamom, and all of the different flavors play so well with the pineapple. Did you know that the pineapple fields in the Bahamas are directly responsible for the pineapple industry in Hawaii? Coincidentally, ladies and gentlemen, our Wednesday International Taste episode of Bodine Pot is brought to you by Showman E-Bistro, and this time we travel to Hawaii. We continue to give you all of the great recipes from around the world with a Bahamian flair right here on Bodine Pot. It's time for me to enjoy this. I think I need some fever grass. Also, don't let any and everybody dig up in your pot. Okay.